Hello, skill players. I am Nkiri Ananike of Skill Play Consult, a brand that is dedicated to scaling up the child through fun, hands-on learning. We provide non-screen educational learning resources like puzzles, building blocks, paint by numbers, threading games, and more. At Skill Play Consult, scaling up the child is more than just play. It is engaging and intentional. We help parents raise independent thinkers and problem solvers, one fun learning resources at a time. If you're serious about helping kids thrive, then we've got the right resources that works. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 081230 or follow us on Instagram at skill_play consult.
Hello, my name is Peace. I am Bandless Mom, and I'm here to share my journey with Mastermind Circle. Mastermind Circle have been a game changer for me this year, 25 years. We started our year with the vision board workshop, and my children participated in it, and that day they were so focused. That's the first time I'm seeing them online being so focused, and at the end of the day they were able to choose the goal they have for the year. My elder sons, they choose self-management, and Banle, who's in the mastermind, chose emotional intelligence. I was so surprised how he came up with that. He said, yes, we taught different topic, different area, and I chose that one. I'm like, wow, that's the area I really need to work on, and I've been seeing improvement. I want to say to Coach Marybeth, God bless you for the work you are doing. Thank you.
Hello, parents, boys and girls. Welcome to the third edition of the Mastermind Children Conference, tagged the Young and Empowered Children Conference 25, with the theme, Building a Solid Foundation for the Future. Yes, this is our third edition, and we are so excited to present to you an opportunity for parents to gather on a round table to discuss pertinent issues on how we can support our children to be the best version of themselves. Yes, it is also a platform where we give children an opportunity to use their voice, to share their experiences, and of course, impact their peers and a generation with what it is that they carry within. It also allows other children get inspired by these children who have dared to try. So, boys and girls, dear parents, have you registered for this conference already? If you have and you are sitting, then congratulations. It is about to go down. So, my name is Marybeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and the proud maker of the Children's Mastermind Circle. And do you know, I am your favorite children's coach. Welcome to the 2025 Young and Empowered Children Conference. Let's go get transformed. Hello everyone, good evening, good day, good morning. I know you're watching from different parts of the world. Go and tell us in the comment section where you are watching from if you are here right now. We have very few people in the studio. Why is that? It's time for our evening session, and this is the third section, and the last session is the last session for the children. So if your buddy is not here, if your friends are not here, in fact, if you have not invited anyone, this is the time to invite them, because this is our last session and it's going to be a very, very impactful one. All right, my name is Marybeth Chima, of course, and I am going to be your moderator for this session, because our moderator is not on ground right now. All right, before we bring up our speaker for this evening, we are going to have his bio. So our speaker's bio is coming on right now. All right, we're waiting for our speaker bio.
Kamsi Chima, Kamsi Chima is a young achiever who's a TEDx speaker, international public speaking champion, and entrepreneur. At just 8 years old, he started YouTube to share science knowledge. He's a peer mentor, author, and runs his own business, KC Holdings. Kamsi has held various leadership positions and has been featured on TV programs and global platforms. Currently, he's a Year 8 student and a 3 times host of Mastermind, Child Vision Board Party, and Mastermind Conference for Children. Please welcome to the Young and Empowered Children Conference 2025, Kamsi Chima.
Alrighty, we have Kamsi Chima in the house, our speaker for this evening. And yes, coincidentally, Kamsi is also our lead partner at the Mastermind Circle. And Kamsi is going to be taking us on a journey this evening. If your friend is not here, as I said, get them to join us because Kamsi is going to be talking about the pathway to becoming a resourceful teenager. So I'm going to go off his screen right now to avoid the echo that is here right now, and then Kamsi will take it away. Thank you, Kamsi. Welcome, and we can't wait to hear from you or to learn from you.
Thank you, Matron. It's great to be here. So, I'm going to just share my slides now and we'll kick right off. All right. Hello, viewers. As has already been said, my name is Kamsi Chima, and this time I'm going to be taking you through the pathway to becoming a resourceful teenager. So, first, I want to start with a simple task or a simple what's the word challenge or activity. So I want to ask all of you, what do you want to be? Please put it in the comments. Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, anything? Just put it in the comments section. Wow. All right, come on. I'm waiting for your responses. Put it blow up the comment section with your responses. I want to see it. I'm heading somewhere with this, so I want some answers. Okay, Danny Place says he wants to be a story writer. That's great. Come on, everyone else. I have a number of people watching. I want to see all your answers here. I want to be a footballer. All right, let's see who else. I want to see. Danny says a story writer. Good. Give me one more answer and then I'm going to go on. I'm getting somewhere. All right, so I think I'll go on from here. So, why I asked you that is I noticed that everyone who dropped an answer talked about what they want to be in an occupation kind of sense. I am Esther, I want to be a teacher. Iviosa, a pilot. Wow. So, where I'm driving at here is that I want you guys to stop thinking from just a sense of what I want to be a scientist, a doctor, a pilot, and in an occupation sense. I want to shift your mindset before we start here to start thinking from a sense of who you want to be, the kind of person you want to be, and the kind of values you want to be able to uphold with the person that you want to be. So, in life, the kind of person you want to be is actually more important than the occupation that you want to carry out, because many times people end up taking occupations that or becoming what they actually aren't because they're just following with the crowd, or they're just looking for what is easy or what is attractive. But what I want you guys to understand is it's important that you focus on the kind of person you want to be, because the kind of person you want to be can impact what you end up doing with yourself, and it helps drive you to making the most of the kind of person and what you are doing. So, here's a quote on being resourceful. And it says that being resourceful is not about having all the answers, and it's about being willing to find them. Okay, so quickly now we're going to just go over exactly what it means to be resourceful. To be resourceful means to be good at solving problems and using the resources that you have around you. It means finding smart and creative ways to solve problems, even though you don't have everything you need. And I want to add one more thing that I didn't put on the slide. Being resourceful means being able means being able to solve problems and being able to put yourself in a situation where you're able to get sorry being resourceful means being able to put yourself in a place to be helpful to the people in your environment at any times. Okay, sorry, I had a bit of trouble backstage. So as I was saying, being resourceful means being that person who is available and is putting themselves in a place where they can be helpful. I'm sure we've all seen these kind of people. Please put it in the comment if you know. If you have that person, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's your sibling, maybe it's your friend in school, maybe it's your teacher, adults or children. If you have that person who is always in a position where they are able to help people and just they're always finding ways to be useful in their environments. Please put it in the comments if you have those kind of people in your life. So being resourceful means being that kind of person. Okay, Danny please says my mom. That's good. So we should all as people strive to be that person who can solve the problems in our environment. That means being resourceful. Being resourceful is something that can set you apart from the people around you. And that's why I want to get to. Sorry, can you give me a. All right, that's now that I've settled that. As I was saying, being resourceful is important because when you're a resourceful person, it sets you apart from the people around you, the people in your environment. And a lot of people nowadays have the tendency to just do what is basic, do what is just the bare minimum, basically. And it's important that we be resourceful because if you're resourceful, it's very easy to just set yourself apart from people. And being resourceful can open up a lot of opportunities to you, which brings me to my next slide. So, why should we be resourceful as people? The first thing or first reason why you should be resourceful is that it helps you to solve problems all by yourself. Now, a lot of us, I know a lot of people who want to grow up quickly, and I want to say that growing up isn't just about being bigger, being taller, having a deep voice, having broad shoulders. There's more to growing up than that. Growing up is about responsibility, and growing up means that you should be able to solve problems by yourself. Like, let's take your mommy or daddy, for instance. Mommy and daddy don't have anyone who they're going to run to help them solve their problems or who are going to help them provide. As you grow older, you become responsible for things, and as you grow older, people are less sympathetic and people are not going to save you. So I'm saying that you should be resourceful because when you're resourceful, it means that you can solve your own problems and other people's problems by yourself. You don't have to wait for someone else to fix everything for you. You can fix things for yourself. Now, it also helps make your brain stronger and smarter. Now, I think we should have heard this a couple of times, but your brain is actually like a muscle. Obviously, it's not a muscle, but as you continue to think and you tease your brain, and as you solve problems, you get better at solving problems. When you use your brain, you get better at using your brain. And in this same vein, in this same light, when you solve problems, when you make decisions well, you can get better at making decisions. And it goes the same way with a lot of things in life. As you do things, you get better. So being resourceful means that you're putting yourself in a position that you're doing things. And as you continue to do things, you get better at doing those things. And as you keep on putting in the work in doing these things, then you end up triggering something that they call the 10,000 hour rule. Now, when I say triggering, it's not like something that just happens. The 10,000 hour rule means putting in 10,000 hours into something, and that helps you to get better at that thing. So, when you put in 10,000 hours, you get better at the things that you do and you can become a master in that thing. So, what I'm trying to say is by putting in time and putting in effort into doing things, you can get better at them. And it works the same way with your brain. So, the third reason is that it teaches you not to give up easily. Because when you start being resourceful, you end up building up resilience. And resilience is a really important trait, especially in the world that we're going into, because there are so many people who give up very easily. And as you grow older, you find out that giving up actually doesn't take away your problems. In fact, giving up or not facing your problems head on simply makes those problems build up. And at the end of the day, you're always going to have to solve those problems. They say that the birds always come back to roost. So you're always going to have to confront those problems. So it's better that you build up resilience and you learn how to confront your problems head on. And learning to be resourceful helps you to do this. And it helps you to build resilience, and it helps you to learn to keep trying different ways even when one doesn't work. Because when you are not able to solve a problem, trying the same thing over and over again never actually helps. What you need to do is you need to be strategic, and you need to try different ways to solve these problems. If you don't give up and you're strategic trying to solve your problems in different ways, then you'll be able to eventually solve that problem. Like, let's take someone like Thomas Edison, for instance. Thomas Edison had many failed attempts to create the light bulb, and probably for many of his other inventions, there were a lot of attempts that were failed. But each time they made an attempt, if they went with the same thing over and over again, then the light bulb wouldn't have been created. The beauty of innovation, or the beauty of solving any problem in life, is being able to do something, you fail at it, and you see, okay, this way doesn't work. You learn from that mistake and you try something else. That's how every inventor and every successful person made it. And that's why being resourceful is important, because it puts you in that space where you're in a position where you're constantly having to solve problems, and pushing yourself into that place where you're constantly solving problems naturally will make you get experience at solving problems, and it will make you better at solving problems. So the next reason why you should be resourceful is that it helps you to use what you already have. What I mean by that is that we all have resources, we all have things around us. And the things that we use around us, they say in economics that problem solving involves using the things that you have to get what you want. I've been reading the book Outliers recently, and it talks about the fact that we all have tons of resources and tons of things in our environment that we can tap into. But many of us end up not tapping into those resources. And when you don't tap into your resources, the resources that you have around you, it's wasted potential. So you use being resourceful teaches you to solve problems using the resources that you have around you in your environment, not constantly trying to look at what you don't have. When you're resourceful, you tend to see what is possible and what is not possible. They say when you see a glass that is half full, there are many people who say that okay, the glass is half empty, but you could also say that it's half full. What I'm saying about this is you need to always look at every problem and every situation from the bright side. And when you do that, you'll be able to find the solutions to those problems using the things that you have in your environment. Because whether you like it or not, wishful thinking really doesn't get you anywhere. What I mean by wishful thinking is just dreaming or saying, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I had the right tools to get this done. You need to learn to improvise and use the tools around you to get things done. That's what I mean when I say that resourcefulness helps you to use what you already have, and it teaches you to create and do things even without perfect situations. When you wait for perfect situations, whether you like it or not, my mom always tells me this: there's no such thing as a perfect situation in life. There's only a situation that there were the tools in place. Every situation, there are tools in place that you can use to solve problems, or you can use to get better, or you can use to fix the problems in those situations. And it's only when you're a resourceful person. The thing that separates a not so resourceful person from a resourceful person is the fact that resourceful people know how to look to the tools in their environment and use them to get things done and use them to solve problems. The next reason you should be resourceful is that it helps you to help others. I'm sure you've heard this a couple of times. When you're kind, kindness comes back. But I want to retwist that. There's more to that quote than just being kind. See, everything that you do ends up coming back to you in one way or the other, whether it's kindness, unkindness, or anything like that. So, in that same vein, when you are helpful, it sends a sort of frequency into the universe. And that frequency that is, let's say, emitted when you're helpful ends up coming back to you in the form of opportunities. It could be people, and it's usually people. It could be people, it could be other things. But those opportunities, when you help people, those opportunities come back to you because people wants people who can help them. And naturally, when you help people, you're going to have people who will be willing to help you because everyone is gaining something at the end of the day. When you help people, they are gaining something and you are gaining something. So when you set yourself apart in that way, then you become someone who is sought after. Here's a short story to explain that. So, I had a friend at some when I was younger who would constantly go to teachers to help them to ask them what they could help out with, whether it was things as simple as arranging books or it was just using marking guides to mark things for them. This friend of mine, let's call him Jaden, was always someone who was putting himself in a place to help people. And as time went on, the head of school was looking for someone who would help her with organizing a presentation, who could help as some sort of a personal assistant in organizing a presentation that she had. And obviously, there was a teachers' meeting that was held, and teachers kept on volunteering this Jaden to the head of school. So Jaden was called, and he actually helped the principal to arrange these things, or the head of school to arrange the documents and everything that she needed for her presentation. And it was an amazing presentation. And the head of school gave Jaden lots of accolades for being so helpful. Later on, Jaden, when Jaden went on, he was a few years older than me, and he went on to become someone who was constantly helping people and he was constantly getting favor from teachers because of that. So, what am I trying to say? When you help people, it comes back to you and it opens up. Being resourceful and being someone who is helpful opens up doors for you. Because when you help people, you never actually know who you're helping. You never know the kind of position that the people that you're helping are. And what I'm saying here, I'm not saying that you should constantly look for what you can gain from people, because when you do that, then you end up being someone who is using the people around you. What I'm saying isn't using people. What I'm saying is that you should be helpful to everyone around you, not just because it's the right thing to do morally, but you never know the kind of opportunities you can get because you're willing to help people. I hope I'm making myself clear. Please drop it in the comment section if you are learning something. So the next thing is that it helps you grow into the person that you want to become. And that's what I mentioned earlier about experience, and I mentioned about the 10,000 hour rule. When you do things, especially when you're doing things in the line of what you want to become, or the person you want to become, or what you want to do, it helps you to gain experience. And it's through experience that you prove yourself worthy, so to speak. It's when you're able to do things. It's the things that you can do, the value you can bring, that puts you in a position where you're useful to people. And every success that you have in life is actually dependent on how useful you are to the people in your environment and to the people in your world, especially those in your environment, because it's by being useful to people in your environment that you can go on to become useful to more and more people, because you'll get referred. You get, like, let's take Jaden's story for instance. How would he have known that helping out teachers would lead to him getting the head of school calling him to help her out? It's all in what I'm saying about knowing that every situation where you're helping people is another opportunity that could come back to help you in the future. That's what I'm saying about it helping you to be grow into and become the person you want to be. And I also want to use this chance to say that there's no such thing as knowledge that is wasted. Every knowledge that you gain is something that can be useful to you later on. So you should learn how to gain knowledge anywhere that you can, especially knowledge that is hard to gain, because I believe I said this sometime in the last conference, because I was teaching a similar topic. It's the things that you can do that that other people, or that most other people can't do, that will set you apart in your environment and in the world at large. It's when you know how to do things that not everyone else can do, that you're able to set yourself apart. Because when you know how to do things that not so many people know how to do, then you're setting yourself apart in such a way that you're limiting the competition that you have in those areas. That's why I say that you should look into gaining knowledge, especially knowledge that other people are not actively gaining. When the harder that something is to obtain, the more likely that there are people who are demanding for it, and the more that you can actually gain, the more that you can command from that kind of situation. So I think I've overflogged this a bit too much. And the last thing here is that it makes you more creative and it makes you more fun, because when you're able to help people, it's natural that people are drawn to you. People are drawn to people who can be helpful, and people are drawn to people who can make things easier for them. So being more creative, being more resourceful makes you more fun to be around. It makes you more pleasant to be around, and it makes you more creative, because when you're able to be resourceful and help people around you, you're someone who can create, someone who can think outside the box to do things that not everyone would have thought about. So I hope that this has made you understand some of the reasons why you need to be a resourceful person. So we're going to the next slide, and it's story time. So I know I already shared the story of Jaden earlier, but I have another story I want to share with you about three friends who were close, not too close to me, but I happen to know them. So there were three of them, they were siblings, and there was one of them who was around my age and two who were older than him. So he had a brother, let's call him Tony, and let's say that his two siblings were, say, Jonathan and Kemi. So Tony, Jonathan, and Kemi, when we were about 8 years old, we they were getting their first laptops. And Kemi said that she wanted to get her laptop so that she can look at celebrities and watch things that celebrities do, so that he can start dressing like them, so that she could start looking and sounding like them. And Jonah, let's call him. I don't remember the names for this. So Jonah, he said he wanted to play video games with his laptop. But my friend Tony, he said that when he gets his laptop, that he was planning to go and learn a few things. Like he was going to start taking, he told his mom that he wanted to start taking coding lessons and that he also wanted to learn how to design graphics using Canva. So Tony's mom brought all three of them their laptops, and Tony's siblings, they went to go and use their laptops to have fun, playing video games, looking at celebrities, chatting with friends. While Tony, he used his laptop to learn skills, and he started getting into forums or groups with people who also started learning the skills that he was learning: graphic design, coding, tech skills, basically. And he also met a bunch of people who had tons of different tech skills, things like video editing, and one of them was even learning how to build websites. So, as time went on, Tony was in school, and the head of school was looking for someone who could help her design a banner for an upcoming school event, because the teacher who would normally do things had been hospitalized at the time. So they needed someone on short notice who could help him. And Tony volunteered, saying that he knew how to. So the head of school assigned Tony, and he worked and he delivered the thing for the head of school. And the head of school actually, he was 10 at the time that that was happening, and the head of school actually gave him a small token that was money, and he gave him a small token for helping her. Now, later on, Tony and his friends in the forum, they ended up designing a website that young children could use and would help them out with homework. And they took it to the same school, and the head of school gave them the green light and started using it within the school, and students used it to help them get their homework done, and it also helped teachers to mark homework easier. So see how Tony has just made himself such a valuable person. Meanwhile, his siblings ended up just being your average teenager, playing games, watching videos and stuff like that, and they didn't amount to as much as Tony did. Now, I'm not trying to say that people who just have fun with their devices and stuff like that are bad in any way, but I'm just saying that you as a person need to decide what you want to use the things around you for. Everyone who is viewing has a laptop or has parents who have a laptop. Why are you going to waste it just playing games and just watching videos? There are so many other opportunities that are in these devices that you can tap into as long as you want to. What I'm saying here is that you need to be someone who is resourceful. You need to be someone who is willing to jump at the to identify the opportunities that you have and jump at them, because it's when you jump at the opportunities that you have that you'll be able to use these opportunities to your advantage, because there are people who don't have your opportunities, and there are even more people who have these opportunities but aren't willing to do anything about it. If you're able to set yourself apart, it can open so many opportunities for you. Let's take the story of Bill Gates, for instance. Bill Gates was one of those who happened to be extremely lucky to be in a position where he could access a computer. But if you were in Bill Gates' position, would you have been able to do the same thing? Because Bill Gates had a computer and he had every opportunity he could have used to play games with that computer instead of doing what he did. But no, instead of that, to Instead of that, Bill Gates went on to go and start learning how to code, how to tinker with computers and make programs. And it was that led to Bill Gates becoming who he became. Let me ask you guys something. If you were Bill Gates, do you think you would have amounted to as much as he amounted to? If you were the one in an era where not everyone had computers, there would you have been able to use would you have learned how gone out of your way to learn the constructive and useful parts of using a computer? There are tons of ways that you can use your devices properly. Like, let's say you can take courses on Udemy, Coursera. You can find free courses there even if you don't have even if you're in a position where you can't pay for paid courses, you can use Udemy, Coursera, and other apps to get courses that you can use to develop yourself. You can use Canva to learn how to design graphics. Even with social media sites, like I don't know if you know too many, but I know Discord. Discord is a site mainly used for chatting, but you can find a lot of servers on Discord where you meet like-minded people, people you can study with, people who can help you code, people who can help you learn tech skills, people who can help you learn life skills, just a lot of things. And you can learn all of these only if you decide to put in the efforts to learn the things that not everyone wants to learn. That's why I say this era, the current era, the 21st century, is one of the easiest eras to be a successful person, because if there are so many people who are just taking the route of going and going to put themselves under someone for the rest of their lives. I'm not saying that being someone who is not willing to lead or not being to initiate themselves things by yourself is a bad thing. But I'm saying to what end? Is that kind of person you want to be? I don't know about you, viewer, but I'm here to tell you that you should strive to become someone who can make their own work, their own, what's the word? Someone who can make their own luck, someone who can put themselves, who can insert themselves into a position where they are useful to as many people as possible. And when you are useful to as many people as possible, it's only a matter of time. It's sorry, my diction there. It's only a matter of time before you are a useful person to as many people as possible. And it's only a matter of time then that you will be successful. All right, let me not dwell too much on that. So, how can you be resourceful? I have four very simple things you can do here to become a resourceful person, or to become a more resourceful person. You can learn skills. You can go online, use sites like Coursera, Udemy, Canva to learn skills. And when I'm saying learn skills, these sites that I just mentioned can help you learn hard skills, but you can also learn soft skills as you go on. That's why we've overflogged during this conference that it's important that you put yourself into mentorship programs like the Mastermind Circle, for instance, where they're teaching important, useful life skills like resilience, being able to start and finish tasks, being able to honor people, and just life skills, executive functioning skills like that. And also learning hard skills that you can use. So, what I'm saying is that you should learn hard skills, and to those hard skills, add soft skills that you can use to put yourself and set yourself apart from other people. The next thing I'm going to say is that you should take opportunities. There are opportunities all around you. It may not seem that way for some of you, but trust me, if you look closely, there are always opportunities around you. There are always problems to be solved. There are always people who need help. And you can be the one to help those people. Once you are helping those people, you're going, as I said, when you help, helpfulness opportunities come back to you. Especially if it's people, if it's solutions that not everyone has the answer for. If you are able to solve a problem that not everyone is willing to solve, then you instantly become someone who is valuable in that space or in that environment. And once you're valuable in that environment, it's only a matter of time that you get rewarded for the value that you're giving. The third thing I say is volunteer to help out. If you don't see opportunities around you, you should just volunteer. Community service, anything that just involves you volunteering, even if it's not something that's giving you immediate value or giving you immediate rewards, you should just put yourself in a position where you are helping at any case. If anything, you're gaining experience from it. Worst case scenario, you're gaining experience. Best case scenario, you are putting yourself in the space where you are getting an opportunity that could be useful to you later on. And the last thing I'm going to say for how you can be resourceful is that you should not hide behind. Never be that kind of person who is hiding in other people's shadow. You should always be someone who takes the forefront in the things that you do. Because if you hide behind the shadows, you become like everyone else. And being like everyone else doesn't make you a valuable person. Okay, to the next slide, we're going to talk about a very relatable story, Joseph in the Bible. I'm saying Joseph because Joseph, in my opinion, at least in my opinion, is the pinnacle of resourcefulness. Let's take a brief run through Joseph's story. Joseph's story is covered in the book of Genesis in the Bible. So, Joseph was the son of Jacob, and Jacob had 12 other children. So Joseph was the youngest, and he was someone who had big dreams. His brothers hated him because he had big dreams. So they sold him to the house of they sold him to the Ishmaelites, and he ended up in the house of a wealthy man named Potiphar. So in Potiphar's house, Joseph was a slave, but Joseph did so well doing things in Potiphar's house. He was so exceptional. He was so resourceful that Potiphar put him in charge of everything in his household. And the Bible said that while Joseph was in Potiphar's house, Potiphar needed not to worry about anything. If that is not resourcefulness, I don't know what is. Joseph was that kind of person that he can take over something, and once he takes over it, you don't have to stress about that thing anymore because you know that he had the skills to take care of it. He knew what he needed to do and he did it. Joseph was put in charge of things in Potiphar's house. Even when Potiphar's wife went to lie against Joseph and got Joseph thrown in prison, even in prison, in the lowest of the lowest police he could have been, he was still resourceful. The guard in the prison left him in charge, and they said again that when Joseph was there, he didn't have to worry about anything. Joseph was so good at managing things. He was so skilled that you didn't have to worry about things when he was there, even in prison. Even in prison, where probably you have some of the worst kind of people, Joseph was still being resourceful. He was still making himself useful. Then we have two people. If I'm correct, it was a baker and someone who served wine to the king, who were in the prison and were going to be released. So when they were released and the king had a bad dream that he had two bad dreams. I don't have too much time, so I'm not going to go in depth to what that was. But the king had some dreams, and the baker happened to be there, and he said that he knew someone from the prison that knew how to interpret dreams. And just like that, Joseph was brought out of prison and he was brought before Pharaoh. This is what we mean when we say the Bible said it that your talents will bring you before kings. It's Joseph's talent, that opportunity that he had, that he knew how, that he had the ability to interpret dreams, the ability that God had given him. It was that ability that God had given him to interpret dreams that brought him before kings. I want to pause the story here and say that every one of us has a God sent talent that is within us. And when we identify that talent, the Bible said it that your talents will bring you before kings. So it's that talent that you have. When you use it, it will bring you before great people, not only kings, but just people of value that will give you opportunities if you are diligent and if you know how to use those abilities that are given to you. So Joseph was put in charge or Joseph was brought before Pharaoh. And when he was brought before Pharaoh, he interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and said that there was going to be a famine in the land of Egypt. And Joseph didn't just stop on telling Pharaoh what the problem was. He gave Pharaoh the problem and he gave Pharaoh the solution to the problem. He said that he should put some of or part of their produce for that year, for those years, the 7 years of abundance in this case, Pharaoh told Joseph to take the proceeds of that 7 years of abundance and save a part of it so that when the 7 years of famine come, they will have what to rely on. So Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of this. Joseph brought the solution, and Pharaoh put him in charge of making sure that solution happened. And Joseph still delivered. After the 7 years of abundance happened, the 7 years of famine came, and they made those 7 years of abundance seem like they never happened. But because Joseph had already made plans in advance, the kingdom of Egypt were not scared. And other kingdoms even started coming to Egypt to get their proceeds. Now, there's two lessons I want to draw from here. Number one is that planning is key. When you have plans, people who are planless will come before you. That's the second lesson. When you have in abundance, or when you have what not everyone has, when you have, people will come to get what you have, and they will be willing to pay for what you have. The rarer what you have is, the more people are going to pay for what you have. That's why gold is so valuable, because gold isn't easy to obtain. Anything that is easy to obtain, they said it in a song that I like. That there's a song that I like to listen to that says that. Sorry, what? Sorry, when I remember what it said, I'll say it. But what I'm saying is that when things are rare, they are valuable. Yes, it said that nothing that comes easy is worth having, because when something comes easy, everyone is going to have it, because everyone is always looking for what is easy. It's when you go and you get what is hard to get that you become valuable. The less people other people have what you have to offer, the more people are going to need what you have to offer. And that's why I say that if you look into, or when you have, people are going to come to you. That's why you need to be someone who is resourceful. And apart from being resourceful, you have to be someone who is strategic enough to find what people need, and the things that people need, and the people things that not everyone is willing to get. When you are able to provide what people need and what people are not easily willing to get but they want, then trust me, my friend, you are going to be a person of value. And last but not least, after all this happened, Joseph's brothers who had thrown him away came back, and Joseph was kind obviously to them, and he gave them out of the abundance that he had. But what I'm trying to say is that in life, when you decide to go on the journey of becoming, of developing yourself, of growing yourself, you're going to lose a lot of friends. But trust me, once you've become exceptional, and once you have value, those same people are going to come running right back to you. Trust me. So that's where I'm going to conclude the story of Joseph. I have dissected it as much as possible to get the lessons out of it. And I hope that this story I've shared has helped you understand what I've been saying the past almost 1 hour about being resourceful. So I'm going to end my presentation here with this quote saying that whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. This ties into what I've been saying earlier, because when you can be trusted with very little and you can be useful with the very little opportunities that you have, God in heaven will reward you, or the universe, God in heaven, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line, you will be rewarded with more and more opportunities, as long as you're able to make do with the little opportunities that you have. So stay resourceful, stay useful, stay vigilant to the opportunities in your environment. Thank you. That's where I stop for today.
That is it. That is what we are talking about. Can you take your okay, let me remove this from the screen. All right, that is what we are talking about. Talking about being resourceful. Did you listen to Kamsi? Kamsi, as I said at the beginning, is the lead partner of the Mastermind Circle. So now you know why we say he's the lead partner of the Mastermind Circle. All right. So Kamsi has just taken us on a journey to understand your place as a resourceful child. So whether you are a teenager, whether you are a preteen, or you are a young child, what it means is that you can be resourceful. Can you take off your volume just in case to help me?
All right, that's fine.
What it means is you can be resourceful. And yes, when you are resourceful, the world indeed will see the value that you carry. And when the world sees the value that you carry, the world will seek you. Let nobody tell you anything different. This is how you become prominent. This is how you become wealthy. This is how you become a person of impact. This is how you change the world. This is how you make a difference. This is how you live in purpose. When you look around you and you see the resources around you and you begin to answer questions, you begin to solve problems, you begin to seek solution using what you have around you. So many times we are looking for things that are not missing. As my coach would say, we are constantly running around seeking and searching and looking for things that are around us, boys and girls. Stop asking mommy to do everything for you. Stop running to Auntie Agnes, Auntie this person, the nannies at home, the housekeepers, the domestic staff in your home. Stop running to people to solve every problem that you have. The truth is, you can solve so many of the challenges or the problems you have around you. But the problem is you do not try. You do not see the things, or you do not look out for the things around you that you can use to solve these problems. And what we are saying to you today, what Kamsi is saying to you today, is if you try, if you stop and you start looking, you will find out that you are also resourceful, just like Joseph was. I mean, think about it. If there is anyone that should have thrown in the towel, if there's anyone that should have done nothing, okay, little boys and girls, younger audience, right? What I'm saying is, if Joseph was doing when, and Joseph was, getting angry. I mean, if he was someone that was lazy or someone that was not resourceful, he would have just sat down there and do nothing. Because after all, the world had been wicked to him. His brother sold him into slavery. He went to Potiphar's house, and Potiphar's wife lied against him. This is him. He's a good person. But look at how people were just being wicked to him. People didn't like him. He would have been there saying, I don't want, nobody likes me. He would have been complaining all the time. Did you see him complain? And by the way, do you know at that time that Joseph was a young boy? He said that he was a young teenager at the time. So for all we know, he was probably just a few years older than you, isn't it? So, but then again, he did not stay there and was crying every day. Oh, my brother hates me. My family sold me. Potiphar's wife, like some of us, one little thing will happen. We will complain from here to there. It's not me. I washed it in the morning. She did not wash it. It's not my turn. It's his turn. We complain about everything. But no, Joseph didn't do that. For every place or every time or everywhere he found himself, he looked for how he could show how resourceful he was. He looked for what he could do to solve the problems wherever he found himself. And yes, that made him very resourceful. And you see, at the end of the day, Joseph became like the second in command. In Egypt, it was said that there was no other person that was important like Joseph after the Pharaoh himself. Just look at that, from someone who was a slave. So for you to move from this level to that level in this life, you must learn to be resourceful. And being resourceful starts by helping around. Start in your homes, boys and girls. Start in your house.
Sorry, Matron, can I just chime in here with something?
Sorry?
Can I chime in? There's something I need to also mention that you pointed out. So you said that Joseph was the second in command to Pharaoh, but it also said that there was no decision that Pharaoh made that he didn't pass by Joseph first. So that just goes to show you that Joseph made himself so useful that the Pharaoh himself trusted Joseph to make decisions even more than he trusted himself. So it just goes to show you how resourceful Joseph made himself as a person and
And
how
he,
resourceful you can make yourself to people.
that's it. And he was a young man. Let's not forget that. He was a young person. All right, boys and girls, this is it. Now I want you to do something. I want you to tell your parents or whoever is around you to take a picture of you as you are watching this session. As you are looking at your camera or you are looking into your phone or the laptop where you are in the session, tell them to take a photo of you right now, whether from the front, from the side, from the back, wherever. Let them take a picture of you and send us a copy of that picture. Let us see how seriously you took this session. Okay, and I also want you to go to the group and below. We open up the group, the conference, to go to that conference with us. Some of the lessons that you learned from this session and other sessions, right? Go and take your notebooks that you've been using and begin to type from the notebook. Put all the lessons that you learned there. When you write it, you put the coach that you learned it from, or the partner or the peer mentor that you learned it from. All right, senior partners of the Mastermind Circle. You know how it is. A lot of you are graduating. You're graduating this year. But do you know you can be a peer mentor like Kamsi and David? You can be a mastermind pro where you come back here to come and teach and come and be a part of our conference every year where you can help the younger children. And that is it with the Mastermind Circle. When you join us in the Mastermind Circle, we walk your journey with you to equip you to become a resourceful person. And as you become more and more resourceful, we don't leave you. We continue to encourage you. We continue to leave an open door for you to always come back to us and to me whenever you need someone to listen to you, someone to hear you out, someone to run ideas or whatever. And you know how it is in the mastermind. We do not joke when it comes to resourcefulness. We don't joke when it comes to our skills and our talents, because we know the right inside there is where our purpose is sitting. Our skills, our talents, the things we know how to do. You know how Kamsi said David used his talents or the blessed things that God had blessed him with everywhere he found himself. If he wasn't using them, they would have died. If he wasn't interpreting dreams, then he would have lost the ability to. But no, he did not throw the talent that God gave him. He didn't dig the ground and put it. He used it, and because of that, God used it to bless him over and over again. So boys and girls, what skills do you have? What talents do you have? What things do you love to do? Begin to do them right now. Look for opportunities to use them to help people. That is how God will use it to be a blessing to you, right? And that way we say our purpose every day. There's no purpose hiding anywhere. What you're doing today is already living in your purpose. So are you ready to live in your purpose, or you want to keep making excuses? Remember, Joseph did not make any excuse. So if you like to join the Mastermind Circle, you would like your parents to enroll you, you're between 5 and 10 years old. The information is on the screen right now, scrolling down there. Tell your parents to take a picture of it. But what you can do, if you can book a slot right away with just 10,000 naira. The fee for this year is 80,000 naira for an entire year. What it means is that you're paying about 7K thereabout per month. It's not even enough for you to buy pizza. Just 7K per month. You don't even pay your lesson teacher 7K per month. You don't pay anybody that does anything right to help you become better 7,000 naira per month. But in the mastermind, we love you so much. We want to be there for you so much. We are ready to make it affordable. Of course, old partners are paying less. So if you want to be a part of the Mastermind Circle, this is the time to book your slots already. Do we have any questions so that Kamsi would answer the question? and we will go off because our parents have a roundtable conversation in the next few minutes. We will start that session, dear parents, at exactly 6:10. So please come back, dear parents, for a powerful session about your children who are struggling. Every child is struggling in one way or the other. Don't ever hear where we want to talk about children who are having learning, whatever, disadvantage or challenges. Don't ever say, no, it's not for me. My children are, no, every child has got something. I know how one of our guests is always saying, she believes that everybody is on some level of a spectrum in one disorder or the other. We just don't know. So come to the conversation. Let's explain to you what we mean, because that conversation is all about how you can help your children through and through. All right, boys and girls, are you taking the pictures? Rush and take the picture right now and begin to send them to the conference group, send them to the mastermind group, whatever group you belong to, send them right there for us. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you guys for being such a wonderful sport throughout this conference. Thank you for attending. Thank you for catching the replay. You have been awesome. I love you. I celebrate you. Come see what will be your last word.
All right, so I think my last word to all of you is to say that you're never too young. Joseph was a young adult. He ended up solving problems that even some of the adults in Egypt couldn't solve. So regardless of how old you are, trust me, there's always going to be someone who can use the solution that you have to bring. That's where I'm going to stop today. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Matron. Thank you so much to our viewers for being such an amazing audience. And I guess I'll see you in the next Young and Empowered Children Conference.
2026. Yeah. So that is it, guys. So take care of yourself. And this is where we have been awesome. Thank you very much. Bye-bye to the yes. All right, children, you have been awesome. All right, thank you very much. See you. Sorry. So at this juncture, we would like to celebrate all those who have made this conference possible. Of course, it is a free conference, but that's because some people sponsored the conference. A big shout out to all our sponsors for this conference. The individual sponsors, we celebrate you. Stephen Go, we celebrate you. Mr. Tokwe. Okay, we celebrate you. We celebrate the fortunes now. Dr. and Mrs. Tokwe Fortune, we celebrate you, Mr. and Mrs. Okoma. We celebrate you, Derek's father, Miss. All right, so we celebrate you, Derek's parents now. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim. All right then. All right, so we celebrate you. We celebrate you, every parents, Chukwemeka and Osinachi's parents, Soma's parents too, so we celebrate all of you and we say thank you for all you do. All right, bye everyone. We will see you, dear parents, in the next session. Bye for now. Let's have the video of our sponsor. Thank you.
Hello, skill players. I am Nkiri Ananke of Skill Play Consult, a brand that is dedicated to scaling up the child through fun, hands-on learning. We provide non-screen educational learning resources like puzzles, building blocks, paint by numbers, threading games, and more. At Skill Play Consult, scaling up the child is more than just play. It is engaging and intentional. We help parents raise independent thinkers and problem solvers, one fun learning resources at a time. If you're serious about helping kids thrive, then we've got the right resources that works. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 08123036575 or follow us on Instagram at skill_play-consult.
Hello everyone. My name is Rebecca Elu. We have been in the mastermind for quite a while. The mastermind is a blessing to my kids because it has helped them to be able to know how to journal. It has helped them to be able to self-direct and understand their purpose why they were created. It has